Hi guys, it's Richie from the Bliss Venture. So I decided to start a new playlist, and the reason I decided to do this is because I've been flying my drone now for a few months, and I think that it would be very useful for some of you that are looking to buy a drone to have a channel another channel where you can get tips on all sorts of aspects about a drone. So this series or this movie is going to be about what drone should you buy. And so I'm just going to go through the aspects that you should think about when you decide what drone to buy. So at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is considerations that are important in deciding from the multitude of drones that there are. I think cost is a very important place to start. Drones can vary in price, ranging from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. So I decided to get a DJI Mini 3 Pro. And I'm going to tell you why I decided to get this. But before I start, subscribe, like, follow this channel. I'm going to be bringing out more videos like this about drones, about techniques of flying, about how not to crash, and also go into some of the aspects of the technical stuff that I've learned. And I'm going to save you a lot of time. So where do we begin? I think let's start with why I bought a DJI Mini Pro. I paid $759 for it, so you can get cheaper drones, but as far as the range goes, it's not an expensive drone. I saved up for it. A very important thing once you get your drone is to realize that a lot of people crash their drones, especially beginners. So one of the things that is important is, depending where you are, DJI do offer a crash refresh warranty, which means you're allowed to crash your drone and they replace it, believe it or not. Unfortunately, here in South Africa, they don't offer that. So check that out. It's important to know. I just bought it and phoned my insurance company, told them I wanted to insure it, and they laughed at me. They said that drones are high risk. So I wish that my country had the crash refresh policy, because I haven't crashed my drone yet, but if I ever do, it's on me. I've got to replace the parts. So let's talk about weight restrictions. That's another important consideration when you're choosing a drone. The DJI Mini Pro is 249 grams. They kept it 1 gram under 250 grams, which in a lot of countries is the legal limit, which determines if your drone is a hobby drone or a commercial drone. And if it's a commercial drone, you need a license, and there's many places you can't fly it. So the DJI Mini 3 Pro is 249 grams with the regular battery. So I also considered that. Something else to consider is, do you have collision avoidance sensors? Now, the DJI Mini Pro has a front, back, and downward center, which is great. When you veer in sideways, it can't see sideways. So we'll get into that in some other videos. But essentially, that's good obstacle avoidance. So cheaper drones don't have any obstacle avoidance, which, I don't advise anyone to go for. Something else that I love about the DJI Mini 3 Pro is the return to home feature. Before you take off, it uses GPS and it locates your point of takeoff. And while you're flying, if for some reason you lose reception between your radio control and the drone, or if it works out that the battery that it's taken to get where it is at the moment is too little or just enough to get back to where you are, it will return to home for both these reasons. So these are very, very pertinent points that create a lot of stress. I've had both happen. There's interference from radio towers, even from things that people have in their homes. And I love to fly, so I push my drone as far as I can, and I fly it for as long as I can. And so it returns to home when the battery is low. The distance of the DJI Mini 3 Pro is advertised at 8 kilometers. Now, to be honest with you, I've taken mine 5.5 kilometers. But here in Cape Town, obviously an urban area, you've got radio towers, cell phone towers, and quite a few interferences. So I found after 5.5 kilometers, I kept losing reception between my radio control and my drone. So that's how far I've taken mine, which is awesome. You know, height is fantastic because the higher you go, the less interference there is. But you often have to worry about the wind. I've noticed that I can fly my drone quite comfortably in up to 11 meters per second. The camera on a DJI Mini Pro is 4K. So that's right there. You can put up 4K drone videos onto YouTube. As you know, I've got a playlist of 4K drone footage. If you haven't seen it, go check the playlist out. Absolutely awesome. It also shoots at 60 frames per second, which you can set to 30 if you want. So, you know, for action shots and a lot of situations, that 60 frames per minute is awesome. Having a live feed from your drone to your phone or radio control is also something that fascinated me and was a prerequisite for me getting the DJI Mini 3 Pro. It gives you the ability to fly out of sight. You know, in a lot of places that's not allowed, but like everyone does it, and that's part of flying a drone, is taking it to where you can't go. The availability of spare parts is something to consider. DJI is quite a popular brand of drone. So wherever you buy your drone in each country, you should expect that they will have spare parts. Now, if you don't have the refresh crash warranty, those spare parts are going to come in handy. And the harder spare parts are to find. If you buy a different drone, the longer it takes to import them. You've got to pay import tax. And yeah, that's not what you want to do. The features on the DJI Mini 3 Pro are awesome. I will let out a movie where I go into those in great detail, but essentially you've got master shots and quick shots, and they automate various angles, following you, circling you. As I said, I'll get into it more in another video, but this is great, especially when you're learning to fly a drone. You don't yet really have the stability, the ease of movement, the finesse that it takes to get a stable shot. These things come in handy. GPS navigation, also important. We've already discussed return to home. GPS is important. You can know where your drone is. You can download maps, and it's right up there with having a reception between your RC or your phone and the drone. The gimbal, a 3-axis gimbal, going up, down, left, right. The DJI Mini Pro has the ability to go landscape and profile. So you're looking at me now in profile. You'll see that if you go to my playlist, my drone playlist, you'll see I have shot all of that in landscape because you want to get that magnificent view. But if you're shooting for phones, for example, it's nice to shoot in profile. With a touch of a button, you can move from one to the other. Upgrades. There's upgrades that are downloaded often, like firmware upgrades, RC upgrades. DJI are really good at doing that, and obviously you don't need to change your hardware. And an upgrade can add features, and it's a great thing that a well-known brand has. I think that those are the most important considerations. I don't want to keep this video too long. You guys have stuff to do. But I think consider those aspects when buying a drone. You don't have to buy a DJI Mini 3 Pro, but it's what I decided to buy. So why don't you hit up a comment? Let me know what drone you're thinking of buying. If you bought a DJI Mini 3 Pro, let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it. I'd like to see what you got to comment. Also, yeah, support the channel. What more can I say? You know, subscribing to us, getting the benefit of getting new releases of advice on drones, as well as my new drone footage. My girlfriend and I, Carla, also do vlogs on the same channel, the Bliss Venture, and that's where we take the drone and our phones and we take you on an adventure, which is just awesome. So yeah, subscribe, hit the bell, and give us some comments, and you have an awesome day. Fly safe.